guys? Welcome back to Cartoons 1101. I'm your Professor Chris Az, and today we're going to be talking about none other than Regular Show, because y'all know I love me some Regular Show. And I'm going to be proving that Margaret is an it girl. Now you're probably like, oh, Margaret, I mean, I kind of see where you're going, but then again, just stick with me, because by the end of this video, you and me, we both gonna be on the same page to know that Margaret is an it girl. But before we get started, yes, this is a free class, but the textbook ain't free, so you need to go ahead and download the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is the textbook. Click the link in my bio and download the slide deck and follow along as we go through the lecture. Now let's get into it. Okay, so Margaret is an it girl, but first we need to know, who is Margaret? Just in case you're new here, I got you, and if you need a refresher, I got you. So Margaret is a character from Regular Show. She is the primary love interest of Mordecai, okay? Regular Show is a show that follows Mordecai and Rigby and some misadventures of the park being normal, but actually not. Notably, her best friend is Eileen. Her parents are named Frank and Denise, more on them later. Margaret works at the coffee shop across from the park. That's why she sees Mordecai and Rigby so often. She initially attends community college before transferring to a university and leaving town. There she studies journalism. So see, look, we already getting the it girl origin story right here. I love this. Now, who is an it girl? What is an it girl? We seen the Gossip Girl, but what really is an it girl? Now, y'all know me, I had to break out the citations. This is not only for entertainment purposes, this is educational. According to dictionary.com, an it girl is defined as a young woman with sex appeal and a magnetic personality. So what can we take away from this definition? Well, physical attractiveness and magnetic personality. Those seem to be two of the key traits of an it girl. Now here I will assert that Margaret is an it girl because of her attractive appearance and magnetic personality, which derives from her family, educational background, and determined attitude and putting herself first. That's really an it girl right there. Come on, I don't know what y'all talking about. So first, let's talk about Margaret's family, okay? Because if you're gonna be an it girl, how did you become an it girl? Well, it had to start from somewhere. Boom, Margaret's loving family. So like I said, her parents are Frank and Denise Smith. Her dad is Chopper 6. Margaret comes from a loving family, and her father puts her on a pedestal. So in season 4, episode 29, episode titled Family Barbecue, we're kind of able to see her dynamic with her parents, where her dad is this macho guy, like, this is my hug bug. He's really soft with his girls, right, with Margaret and Denise, but outwardly he's this macho guy, like, nobody messes with my daughter, I don't want anybody to get close to my daughter. Ugh. Super overprotective father, and he refuses to shake any guy's hand Margaret brings home, calling them yahoos and whatnot. Okay, he don't want to shake these random men's hands, but notably he calls Margaret his hug bug, which means that he loves his only daughter. They must have a healthy father-daughter relationship. So when Mordecai and Frank are in the midst of a cannonball contest, because Mordecai wants to get Frank's approval to shake his hand, so they did a cannonball contest, and then it escalated to a cannonball, where before they were jumping into the pool from the diving board, and now they jumping out of Chopper 6? The helicopter, y'all. This is too much. But when things go wrong up there and they're like, oh my gosh, we're not gonna make it, all Frank is thinking about is his daughter. But Mordecai comforts him and says, Margaret thinks you're the coolest dad ever, always talking about how great you are. She loves you, man. That's me, I'm Mordecai. From this episode, we can clearly see that 1, Margaret and her dad have a very healthy, loving relationship. Okay, their whole family seems pretty healthy. 2, Frank claims he ain't shaking none of these yahoos' hands that Margaret brings home, these little boys, which low-key subtly implies that Margaret be bringing home lots of boys. Margaret dates a lot, and Margaret got pool game. And in the dating world, that indicates that you're attractive physically and or have a very attractive personality. Minimum one of them. And ipso facto 3, Margaret's an it girl. But let's continue. Let me prove my case. Let's get into Margaret's educational background. Margaret attends community college while also working at the coffee shop across from the park. She not just going to college. She not, oh, la. Okay, class is over. I'm gonna go home and go to sleep. No, this girl's working. Now, we don't know if Frank, her dad, Chopper 6, we don't know if he's paying her way through college. I mean, they do got that nice house, and they have a swimming pool in the back of the house. That's a nice house. I'm sure he might be helping her pay for college. But Margaret's still working, even if she doesn't have to. Even if, let's say, she doesn't have to and Frank is paying her college tuition and everything, she's still working, learning the value of $1. We said, Margaret, we do. Are you following along on the PowerPoint? You taking notes? Hold on, stop the class, because they told me about you. Click the link in the bio, download the slides, and follow along. How many times? So once again, Margaret is working and attending college, and then on top of that, she's accepted into her dream school, a 4-year college out of town. Wrap it up. Mind you, in the episode called Stake Me Amadeus, Mordecai actually asked her, like, will you be my girlfriend in that episode? And Margaret turns him down, saying, listen, school comes first. The school is out of town. We can't do this long distance. She puts her education first before anything. And when women put their education first just over some guy and they just excel, it benefits them, it benefits their family, it benefits the whole economy. Wrap it up. according to Girls' Education in the 21st Century, Tembin states, female education creates powerful poverty-reducing synergies and yields enormous intergenerational gains. It is positively correlated with increased economic productivity, more robust labor markets, higher earnings, and improved societal health and well-being. What more do you need? This girl is getting her education to save the world. Because like I said, when women get an education, it's not just in favor of themselves, like it's helping the whole society, it's helping the people close to you, it's helping your entire lineage. But I digress. Margaret always puts education first. That is what an it girl would do. That seems like iconic it girl behavior to me. And this also ties back into being attractive, okay? She's smart. It's not just physical. You know, she's attractive physically and mentally. Stimulate your mind. And her having a magnetic personality. Look, even when she go out to school, look at that picture. She had friends just off the first semester. Iconic, truly, no notes. Now, she is also determined and stays true to herself while dating. Do y'all remember season 2, episode 18, Do Me a Solid? Where Mordecai and Rigby were basically doing each other favors, but they were saying, do me a solid, do me a solid. Rigby somehow got 10 solids and was using them to like make a mockery of Mordecai and embarrass him in front of Margaret. On the last solid Rigby asked Mordecai to do, which was extremely embarrassing. Mordecai's like, I'm not doing that in front of Margaret, which causes the whole world to literally fall apart. And that's when Margaret tells Mordecai, it's okay to do a solid. Do your friend a solid. I'm literally doing Eileen a solid by being here tonight. I canceled one of my dates, which again indicates it girl, attractive, magnetic personality. Margaret has an active dating life, as any young hot girl should. Then on top of that, in season 3, episode 7, Slam Dunk, Mordecai admires Margaret's physical beauty. Remember, she was riding away on that bike and her backside was showing? Come on, now, obviously this is a cartoon, but I'm gonna tie this to real women, because the female anatomy is different than the male anatomy and women do have hips. In an article titled The Evolution of Human Physical Attractiveness, it mentions that men prefer women with lower than average waist to hip ratio, end quote. The primary benefit of this preference may ancestrally have been the same as a benefit of a preference for feminine faces. Low WHRs, that's low waist to hip ratios, reflect a history of energy balance and flux that promotes allocation of energy into reproductive effort. At the end of the day, y'all, in science, it's always going to tie back to reproduction. Which partner smells the best? Pheromones. Oh my gosh, we gonna have great offspring. This is kind of akin to that argument where it's essentially saying if you got a skinny stomach and some plat out hips, yes, you're iconic, girl. Yes, the men are flocking to you. And as you can see from that photo, Margaret is drawn in such a way that would reflect a low waist to hip ratio. And in knowing this, we can surmise that she has an active dating life. She keeps up with herself. She's physically fit, and that must mean that she's attractive and has an iconic personality. What are we talking about? She's magnetic, okay? Everybody's attracted to her. Next, in talking about a determined attitude, let's talk about Margaret's dating woes, because she certainly faces quite a few of those dealing with Mordecai. So even while dating Mordecai in season 4, she manages to get accepted into her dream college. And that's saying a lot, because some people can't multitask and like maintain a healthy relationship or dating life and keep up with their goals. Whereas Margaret's like juggling, okay, yeah, I like Mordecai, I like this guy, but I'm still my own person. I still have my own goals. I still have my own aspirations, dreams, and wants and agency. And that's Margaret with her education, dedicated. However, after Margaret moves back to town to finish her degree there, she finds herself up in this love triangle with CJ and Mordecai. Everything's awkward with them. She's trying to suppress her feelings. Then in one episode, she gets some guy to be her fake date. Just a mess, but even still, she is pursuing her degree. With an internship at the local news station, might I add, this girl is on her ball. And then of course, every it girl is gonna put themselves first. Like I said earlier, when Mordecai asked Margaret to be his exclusive girlfriend, Margaret says no, like I have to go to college. Putting herself first, knowing when to walk away. Oh, this was the episode I just mentioned, not great double date. Margaret got this fake date telling CJ and Mordecai that, oh, I'm over it, I'm not into you, Mordecai. Just to prove that. Girl, we knew what it was. Anyways, at the end of the episode, Margaret confesses to still having feelings for Mordecai, even though Mordecai and CJ are in a relationship. That takes a lot of balls, a lot of courage, a lot of gumption, a lot of gall to do that to a man in front of his girlfriend. I'm scared of Margaret. Anyways, a woman putting herself first, that's like the most attractive thing a woman can do. Now, let's address the counter argument, because you always gonna have a counter argument. So what the naysayer is gonna say, Margaret is selfish. Margaret could have kept her feelings to herself. But see, that's not honest, and Margaret is honest. I feel like an it girl is going to say what it is, and obviously in a respectful manner, in a way that suits her, but she's not gonna hide or shy away from the issues. And just like in that Ariana Grande song where she says something about clear conscience, I'm magnetic. Come on, that's Margaret. Next, some people don't like Margaret. Ooh, it's the cloud girl. But it girls have haters. Margaret is attractive and magnetic. Okay, some people are gonna be in a gravitational pull, the magnet, and be jealous of the girl. And I think CJ I was a little bit jealous. Now, before I finish, I want to wrap things up with a poem by Stephen Dunn called Beautiful Women, which I feel like perfectly describes not only Margaret, but the it girl, like you watching this, the it girls out there. And you know I'm a spoken word poet, so I just had to throw it in there. Go subscribe to my poetry page and check out a few things. Beautiful women, more things come to them, and they have more to hide. All around them, mirrors, eyes. In any case, they are different from other women, and like great athletes, have trouble making friends and trusting a world quick to praise. I admit, without shame, I'm talking about superficial beauty, the beauty unmistakable to the honest eye, which causes some of us to pivot and to dream, to tremble before we die. Oh, remember that? Hold on, let me pause. Remember that episode where Mordecai accidentally left Margaret that voicemail, hanging with Margaret, just feel so good, like a oh, he was shaking in his boots. Intelligence warmed by generosity is inner beauty. The girl go to school, remember? And what's worse, some physically beautiful women have it, and we have to be strapped and handcuffed to the mast or be ruined. And my friend Mordecai was ruined. In conclusion, Margaret is an it girl because of her attractive appearance and magnetic personality, which derives from her family, educational background, determined attitude, and putting herself first. What more do you want from the it girl? Now comment down below what reason you think that Margaret is an it girl, or which reason I mentioned makes the most sense to you. And if you like this video and laughed, then you're gonna love my comedy mystery cartoon WKS. The pilot's out now. Go check that out next. Hit that like button and subscribe for more cartoon essay analysis videos, and watch all the other cartoon lectures I've already done so far. But that's all I got for today's class. Do your homework. Bye!